The German Pavilion at Expo 2020 Dubai, right at home in the sustainability district. When it comes to sustainability, Germany is a global leader. It's where sustainability was invented and the energy revolution known as the Energiewende was born. A place where science, industry and large parts of civil society are actively committed to securing a sustainable future. In Germany, sustainability is the subject of analysis, research, practice and development, as the title of the German Pavilion at Expo 2020 Dubai sets out to convey: Campus Germany. In addition, the campus metaphor presents the pavilion as a place of knowledge, research and human interaction. Preparations in Germany are gearing up, with the agency Facts and Fiction, construction firm Adunik and Lava Architects working closely with the Federal Ministry for Economic Affairs and Energy and Köln Messe to develop the exhibition design.
Campus Germany soll ein Ort der Begegnung sein.
We want to make Campus Germany a place where minds and people meet, but also where we can present a wide variety of examples of sustainability the way the Germans do it.
Deutschland ausmachen und für die Deutschland steht.
If the idea is to showcase skills and abilities, this is the perfect pavilion. It's a concept for today and tomorrow, offering great potential for the future. In keeping with the Expo 2020 theme, Connecting Minds, Creating the Future, the focus in Dubai will be on solutions for a better tomorrow. Germany signed its participation contract on the 28th of February, officially making it one of the 180 countries expected to participate. In doing so, it also secured a well-placed plot for the German pavilion, right on the main thoroughfare, where it'll be visible from afar. The pavilion's architecture will also incorporate the underlying campus idea, translating it into the vertical. An open, welcoming ensemble of building volumes surrounded by a connecting structure, much like a campus, is framed by a park. This profusion of structures also represents Germany's federal system and the diversity of its industry and research sectors. The leitmotif of the German pavilion is Campus Germany, and the design of the building translates that idea into architectural form. So the pavilion consists of tailor-made cubes designed to perform specific functions, which are connected to one another by the void surrounding them. We're confident this architectural concept will provide a standout attraction in Dubai. In the months to come, the team behind the German pavilion will be working hard to ensure that, as at past expos, visitors enjoy an awe-inspiring experience.
For over 35 years, Grimshaw has taken an approach to design that's really rooted in design innovation and research to explore a wide range of different building sectors across the globe. We believe this sort of approach can take a good design and drive it somewhere that is truly extraordinary and very special. And our objective in all of this is to use the planet's resources very carefully.
The Eden project is fundamentally about exploring human dependence on the natural world and the various aspects of that. We use plants as a canvas on which we paint those stories of interest because plants are common to all peoples.
So when we were approached to put forward ideas for the Sustainability Pavilion for the Dubai World Expo 2020, we were of course very aware of the very challenging environment that it would be placed within. But in many ways we saw this as an incredible opportunity to demonstrate what can be achieved even in a hot and arid environment. If you can create a truly sustainable pavilion in that environment, then you can actually replicate that type of thinking anywhere. And in many ways, we wanted to take the work we'd done for the British Pavilion at the World Expo for Seville, where we use solar power and different cooling systems, and push that idea and that research a quantum leap forward.
Our interest in sustainability has really burgeoned since that time, and so we're really looking forward to this opportunity to build yet another demonstration building showing how architecture and construction can respond to the environment and it can be turned into a sustainable structure.
The Pavilion is a real opportunity for the United Arab Emirates to become thought leaders in the field of sustainability. This is becoming ever more important as our global population rises. The number of people living in cities is expected to double in a generation. So we're literally going to have to build twice the current building infrastructure. So searching for more sustainable, innovative and ingenious design solutions for tomorrow's cities and a blueprint for life is becoming ever more important.
Dubai is a hub city in the world, so having this sort of demonstration project there is really critical. It can sort of be the hub for teaching people, teaching the whole world about sustainability.
We've put together an advisory group from a wide range of different disciplines and specialities, and we believe they will bring an insight into the design of the pavilion and indeed the exhibition itself. This will ensure that the work we produce is both topical and thought-provoking, and of course will be very much at the leading edge of current knowledge.
I'm really looking forward not only to the development of a pavilion that conveys a lot of the ethic of sustainability, but one that's going to be a living practice of that, and one that will have an afterlife of communicating and educating people.
It's important to do something within 10, 15, 20 years seriously because of the climate, because of the ecosystem.
As the planet warms up and becomes more arid, exploring design solutions that can comfortably sit and create sustainable environments within this new challenging climatic condition becomes ever more important. So for the pavilion, it's a real opportunity to explore within the building ideas and concepts that research and explore that area, but also to host exhibitions that look both at the stresses on the planet and its biodiversity and its natural resources, and indeed design solutions that we can draw upon to create a more sustainable future.
This is our chance to show the world the most relevant, the newest forms of technology that surprise and delight and bring great efficiencies to our lives.
Water conservation is, of course, a value. There's resilience outcomes and security outcomes that are contractable by public authorities, and of course employment and wellness outcomes are very valuable.
I envision the way people come into this pavilion. They spiral down through this landscape and then come into a courtyard with this immense, beautiful structure coming out of it, and then to realize that the structure is not there for its formal beauty, but it's there for its practical function.
It turns out that we have tremendous resources on this planet. It's possible to use solar and seawater to do complete sustainability.
Whilst the pavilion at first glance looks quite simple, it's actually the result of a fairly complex design set of analysis and exploration, looking at both the structural form and shape of the pavilion's roof and the performance criteria of the environmental systems placed within it.
It actually pulls the water out of the air that sustains the building. It's capped with solar cells that provide the power for the building. The idea that this magnificent building is also self-sustaining is such an incredibly inspiring model for people to see.
And when you begin to look at avoided sickness and avoided refugee crises, you suddenly realize that in many ways the market for things that we could deliver to the future is potentially significantly larger than the economic models that we're using today.
We believe that nature can be a great inspiration as nature does things so optimally and ultimately so elegantly. Great examples are the Namibian fog beetle that uses its shell to harvest all of its water needs, both drawing water out of the air at night and its hydrophobic coating creating water droplets that it uses and takes during the day. Or indeed the beautiful dragonblood tree in the Socotra Islands off Yemen, whose thick canopy is made up of waxy leaves that actually draw moisture from the air to provide the tree's water needs, and at the same time shade the ground below so that evaporative water loss is minimized and future saplings can grow. And it's intriguing that the similarity in the architectural form of our canopies around the pavilion and that tree. We've used the entire site as part of our sustainability strategy. So along with the high performance roof of the pavilion, it's surrounded by a series of almost desert trees. Each of these have a photovoltaic array at the top which actually track the sun as it moves around the site, both harvesting as much energy as we can, but also providing shade to all the visitors below. And then as the sun sets, and the air temperature drops, they actually draw out moisture from the air using their trunks and then generate and harvest water for the pavilion's use the next day. The landscape around the pavilion will draw upon the ecology of the UAE. We will use plants that are predominant in the area that can deal with the arid and dry conditions. We'll also explore new areas where plants such as halophytes can demonstrate how you can actually irrigate the desert using seawater. Our visitor attractions reflect the culture and geography that they're placed within. They have fascinating and endearing civic spaces, but it's important that they also don't overwhelm the visitor and the experience they take away from that visit. As we've developed the design of the pavilion, a great deal of time and effort has been put into both the selection of materials and also the detailed construction of the building itself. And this will ensure that it has a lasting legacy, but also within the design there's sufficient flexibility to deal with the long-term use. And of course these are the very hallmarks of sustainability: long life and adaptability.
This particular building is planned to live on after the Expo. It's a legacy building, and therefore we've had to think really hard about the content, and the content being educational and relevant for well into the future.
We believe that this will not only give the building a long and lasting legacy from the Expo, but will also inspire future generation of global thinkers.
We are the heirs to generations of human progress, but the reality is that not everyone has benefited from humanity's achievements.
We've come really far in the last few decades. We've accomplished things far beyond our wildest imagination, but there's still so much more we can do. So in 2015, the world put a plan in place to make sure that individuals and communities everywhere thrive, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development.
The good news is we all have a role to play. All over the world, people are doing incredible things on the ground. They're rising up in their communities and are finding ways to solve problems, combine old and new technologies, and are innovating in every sense of the word. But in isolation, this isn't enough, which is why Expo 2020 Dubai is such an important moment for all of us.
We want to be able to invite everyone from across the globe to Expo 2020, where we hope that through Expo, we create a platform of knowledge and understanding that makes us more self-aware about the role that we can play in our society and in our planet, almost triggering a new level of consciousness in all who visit.
At Expo 2020, we want to give the message that every visitor is an agent of change when given the opportunity.
The time is now for us to take action.
In our flagship Opportunity Pavilion, visitors will experience how individual actions can be a force for change, making real strides towards solving these issues. The actual experience that the visitor is going to go through will be about the role that the individual plays in impacting global change, that small actions have big impact.
We're talking about active storytelling here rather than lean back passive storytelling. So we're bringing in a few game mechanics that help players work together and work on their own to experience the content firsthand.
One of the key inspirations lay with the idea of a ribbon-like canopy, which is actually a woven canopy. And that's emblematic or symptomatic of the individual in society, the community coming together as a series of individual filaments.
We're creating an immersive environment. Even the most simplest interactions are going to be incredibly satisfying because you see your choice rendered on a large scale.
Towards the end of that journey, people emerge out into a major crescendo space, which is very much about both celebrating the individual, but also about capturing people's memories and creating this call to action.
You will experience your impact, your inaction or your action, the action you took or the inaction you took. And that will lead directly to knowing how a visitor has contributed or not contributed to solving world issues.
We hope that Expo 2020 Dubai will set an example of what can be accomplished when we create meaningful connections and work together to ensure an enduring legacy.